In today's video, we're going to discuss how to comp properties. We're going to go over all of the criteria that's required while you're analyzing and assessing what a property is worth. By the end of this video, you will know exactly the criteria to use, the dollar adjustments, so that you can make the right decision in acquiring that investment property. It's important to know how to comp your property because you'll be able to increase your ROI, decrease your cost on expenses, holding costs, and renovation. I'm your host, Amit Darji. Hit that like button and smash that subscribe button for more notifications on videos. So let's go. So you've decided to get into the real estate space, especially on the investing side. Perhaps you're looking to buy a property to invest into by fixing and flipping, or maybe you're just looking at it to fix it up and hold it as a rental property. Either way, you need to know what is the right price to buy this house at. And in order to do that, you have to know what it's worth, especially in its fixed up value. You gotta know how to make that money on the back end. So we're gonna go right into the criteria that I look at when comping a property. First things first, you have to find properties that are of like kind. For example, if the property that you're looking to evaluate is a rancher, obviously single family. If it's detached, is it a duplex? Is it a row home, townhome? You wanna match your comparable properties to the property that you're looking to analyze. Next criteria, which is important, is location. So you want to be about a half a mile out from your primary property, which we call our subject property that you're trying to evaluate. So imagine placing a dot and then drawing a half-mile radius out from that property or that dot. All the properties that are in that location is what you want to be looking at. The next criteria you want to look at is sales date. So the properties that you want to analyze, you want to make sure that they've closed within the last 0 to 180 days. Why? Because it'll give you the most accurate and reflect what the current market is looking like. So now, as you are looking for comparable properties, you want to have at least a minimum of 3 properties to compare your subject property to. More the merrier, but again, it has to be in like kind to the property that you're looking to evaluate. The next criteria that I add in to ensure that I get the right types of property to compare against my subject property is the square footage. So there's a rule that we use, and it's plus or minus 20% square feet of the subject property. So let's say you have a property that you're looking at that you want to evaluate that has 1,000 square feet. So plus or minus 20% of 1,000 square feet, the range would then be 800 to 1,200. So you want to make sure that the properties that you're going to utilize to compare, their living space, their square footage is between 800 to 1,200. By looking at the style of the house, the location, your half a mile radius, your sales date, meaning those that have closed within the last 0 to 180 days, and your square footage, plus or minus 20% of the square footage of your subject property, this will have now narrowed down from, let's say, maybe 50 properties to maybe 5, 6, maybe 10. Once you have all these properties compiled, you want to organize it perhaps in an Excel sheet. Once you have all these properties, you want to compare and adjust for the differences, which we're going to get into now. So first, I like to look at the square footage. So again, going back to the example, your property that you're looking to acquire has 1,000 square foot. Now let's say the next property, a comparable, has 1,200 square feet. Well, clearly the comparable property, while it fits in the range, still has 200 more square footage. So you're gonna have to adjust for that. So the way you adjust is you subtract the square footage from your primary property to the comparable, which in this case is 200 square feet. Once you have that difference, you're going to multiply those 200 square feet difference by $50 per square foot. So that is a adjustment of $10,000. Now you're wondering, well, which side does it adjust to? Well, remember, we're trying to make the properties alike. So knowing that the comparable property has 200 more square feet than the subject property, you're going to want to subtract the $10,000 from that comparable property. Now you have essentially stated that both of these properties have been adjusted based on that square footage. So that's one of the criteria. The next criteria that I look at are bathrooms. You're going to have full bathrooms and you're going to to have half bathrooms. Now, the way to adjust for that is I'm going to look at how many bathrooms the property that I'm looking to purchase has versus how many bathrooms do the comparables have. And then you're going to do an adjustment. So let me give you a dollar value that we use in the industry for full bathrooms and half bathrooms. So when you're doing an adjustment for a full bathroom, you're going to adjust by $8,000. If you're doing an adjustment for a half bathroom, well, you probably guessed it, $4,000 is the adjustment. Here's an example. Let's say you have a house that you're looking at has one full bathroom and the comparable has two full bathrooms. Again, as I went and gave you the example for the square footage, the way this reflects the price is that you will subtract $8,000 from the comparable because it has two bathrooms versus your subject property, which has one bathroom. Here again, you're adjusting the comparable to make it equivalent to your primary property that you're trying to evaluate. The next criteria that you want to look at are garage spaces. Some may have one garage space, some houses may have two garage spaces. Nonetheless, you have to adjust for it because there is a value that the garage space adds to the property. So the value number that I use to do an adjustment for garage spaces is $7,500. Same strategy as we did with the bathrooms and the square footage. You have to just adjust, subtract if there's one or two depending on your comparable, and then subtract or add that price to the comparable to make sure that the property that you're evaluating, it makes it comparable. Lastly, some people do, some people don't. I try to be as detailed as possible. The next feature that I look at or criteria that I look to evaluate is the lot size, which is essentially your acreage. The value number that I use for acreage is $3,300. So again, you're going to take the lot acreage or lot size for your subject property, subtract it from the comparable, and whatever that number equals, multiply it by $3,300. And that's where your adjustment's going to be. Again, if the lot size for the comparable property is greater than the lot size for your subject property, that number, that value that you get, you're going to subtract it from the comparable property. Guys, there you have it. That's how you do a comparable analysis for real estate, which we like to call comparative market analysis, CMA. If you guys have any questions, any comments, please let me know. Type it in below. Definitely, like I've asked before, hit the like button. The more likes, the more this video gets out and it can help other people. Definitely subscribe. I'm always going to be dropping new content for you guys to enjoy and for you to grow your own business. Again, if you have any comments, questions, leave them down below. Now that you have stayed all the way until the end of this video, I'm going to give you something for free. So all of these details that I've talked about, the criteria, the information, and how to do the mathematical equations and analysis so that you can get a true value for the property that you're looking to purchase, I have in the description added a link so that you can download the Excel sheet that I've already created. Guys, this is not the most elaborate Excel sheet. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Take care, love you guys, and go crush it.